Lou Wagner, and I play the hero of legend in Warrior Showdown 2.
Hi, my name is Eric Norris, and I play the secret agent in Warrior Showdown 2.
A secret agent versus a hero of legend. No, it's more like a party boy versus a fairy boy.
This was actually the first fight that I constructed for Warrior Showdown 2. And I knew right from the get-go, just the basic fight construction presented a very obvious logistical challenge.
So when I found out I got to play a character inspired by Link, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like a dream come true. It was awesome.
Who wouldn't want to play the secret agent? The guy's been iconicized throughout the century in books and movies, so to have the opportunity to play someone like that was thrilling from the get-go.
People who've been following the show know that most of the cast members also participated as different warriors in the first season. But for some of these roles, we needed some fresh blood, and Eric Norris was the first to come to mind.
And when he asked me to be a part of the project, I was happy to jump aboard.
Eventually, when he put all the warriors in for the voters, he said, all right, if the hero of legend gets picked, you're gonna be the hero of legend.
There was never any doubt in my mind that Lou Wagner was the ideal choice.
So I was like, woohoo!
Not just because of how appropriate he looks for the character, but also because just like the character that Hero of Legend was based on is one of my fictional heroes, Lou Wagner is one of my heroes in real life.
I have my own organization called Kids Against Animal Cruelty, which is a Facebook organization, and it focuses on saving animals from bad people.
He hosts a weekly radio program centered around animal issues. He spends a lot of time at animal shelters trying to raise awareness for misunderstood and unrepresented breeds of dog in particular. And as the very proud owner of 2 super amazing rescue pit bulls, this is an issue very near and dear to my heart. And so in that way, the kid is an absolute inspiration.
TJ did Warrior Showdown 1.
It was truly a blessed experience to work with Lou on the first season of Warrior Showdown.
He asked me if I wanted to play the Star Warrior.
He was just a boy when he started training with me, and to watch him over the course of those fights develop as a fighter and into a young man was just a remarkable experience to be documented on film.
So that was really cool, and I got to do that, and I got a lot of experience doing that. I got to do experience with stage combat.
The best thing about the secret agent is you don't know what he has up his sleeve. Literally and figuratively, he has all kinds of
gadgets, gizmos, and accessories
that you could be completely unaware of. Also, physically, you don't know what he's capable of.
Action! Holy shit. Cut! We got it!
Both the fairy boy and the party boy have lots of tools they're using in the fight. I, of course, only have one tool I use in the fight, and let's just say I'd only need to pull it out once.
My warrior's weapons are awesome. You know, I got a pretty big arsenal of weapons. It's not really just the sword and the shield. I got the boomerang and the grappling hook.
I'm most impressed by his bow and arrow, because that sucker is huge. That thing is taller than he is.
Most of my props are irrelevant. As far as the cards, the gun, they're all things that I use more or less to test my opponent, but I don't rely on any of them. What I rely on is just right here. It's just Mama and Papa breaking it down. I don't know what that means. We'll do that again.
Redo!
This is what I really enjoy, and if you can make this entertaining, that's what I get a kick out of.
For me, training is my favorite part of the process, because you know that's when you learn the fight and you figure out who your partner is, and you can really watch the fight grow, because the day of the fight, you've got the fight down, you've already rehearsed it, it's all nailed, but when you're training, you get to make the mistakes and correct your mistakes, so it's pretty cool.
I think we all share the same goal of wanting to get it right. And right in this case was the fluidity of the secret agent juxtaposed with the broad swooping movements of Link's sword.
Preparing to play the Hero of Legend was also really cool for me, but bad for my mom, because it meant I got to play a whole bunch more video games, and my mom was like, do your school. I'm like, I'm preparing for my role, okay?
You know, I think anybody who plays a secret agent type character, first and foremost, wants to be cool. Depending on who you talk to, I may or may not be as cool as the character that I played.
Eric, look uncool.
And cut!
Cutting.
Dude, you're so badass. It was clear pretty early on how important it was to Eric to convey that masculine, suave, debonair, classic secret agent archetype. So I pointed out the obvious. You want cool. Look no further.
He's not nearly as cool as you want him to be or as he thinks he is. You have to also not be afraid to become unhinged because that's what humanizes it.
These two warriors' fighting styles are completely incompatible.
The biggest challenge for me in this fight was distance.
I feel like our distancing is way off.
It's like his distance is all up close and personal, and mine is like I gotta reach on top of my arm's length with this big sword just to hit him. So it was challenging, but it was fun. On set, the hat never stayed on. It would just keep falling off.
I was like, we will not make our day if this hat keeps falling off his head. So between the makeup and wardrobe department, they got it figured out. I don't know if they stapled it to his scalp or cast some kind of magic adhesive spell, but it didn't fall off again for the rest of the day.
It's just funny because then whenever I would jump up and down, the hat would kind of just bounce up and down on top of my head, so that was kind of fun.
There was a lot of funny experiences. I mean, when you've got someone wielding a gigantic sword, if you miss a beat and you know the sword's coming at your face, you don't know funny until you see a secret agent in a tuxedo come unhinged as you stare at a sword coming at your face.
Yeah.
There is a moment where I actually have to punch the shield, and so there I am, supposed to embody everything that is masculine, and I punch the shield, and my natural reaction was like, ah! And it was an embarrassing moment.
I sustained extreme dizziness and nausea.
Action!
We did multiple takes of that, and it was a very long time, and I felt like Jack Sparrow after that. I was walking around, I didn't know right from left. I was like, whoa, okay. And they're like, do it again. I'm like, what? So eventually I started wobbling like off camera.
On the day of shooting, the cards, every time we had to throw the playing cards, I think a few of them actually blew back into my face, which if you've watched the fight at this point, you realize that I throw them and they explode in front of Link. Well, if you can imagine on the day, they're actually coming back and hitting me more than a few times. Then as well as throwing the martini glass, I think we had 3 martini glasses, so we had to get it right. And it was a very tight shot. And while it's funny in retrospect, the moment was really intense to get that shot right.
Chuck it.
We have two warriors going head to head, both inspired by pop culture characters popularized by video games, movies, and other media. Who would the viewers pick to win?
Wow, I would.
That's an easy answer.
Question. It's just it's a child's play, and I'm the man.
Eric and I are old school. We grew up playing those classic NES games. The Super Mario Brothers series,
Double Dragon,
Donkey Kong,
Castlevania,
Legend of Zelda, of course.
Contra.
Everybody knows the code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, select, start.
These were all my favorite iconic video game characters. So it was pretty cool once I found out that I was going to be fighting Link. But, you know, in that same vein, I also thought that Link, like Hamlet, inevitably, while he is a great hero, should die.
When I learned that I was fighting the secret agent, I was so excited, but I was also really nervous because, you know, when you think of a secret agent, you think of some guy who's really good at martial arts with a whole bunch of cool gadgets. So I was like, oh man, this is going to be an awesome fight.
Zelda has a cult following of people, including myself.
He's kind of a fairy boy as is.
I mean, it goes back to when I was a kid, when Zelda first came out. Who doesn't love Zelda?
Oh my! Is this a sword? Oh!
To say that Nintendo profoundly impacted my life with the Legend of Zelda series would be a tremendous understatement. Link inspired me in many ways, including my decision to grow up to be a sword fighter, as impractical as that may be. So to pay homage to the character that left such a lasting impact on me was a really exciting prospect.
Daniel Craig has really put a new spin on James Bond.
Excuse me, miss.
And now everyone loves James Bond like so much. It's just so...
Couldn't help but notice that you're in a certain state of undress.
He happens to be my favorite James Bond.
By far. I think he's the best James Bond there's ever been.
I was wondering if you'd like to come back to my condominium and find out how many venereal diseases I'm hiding underneath this kilt.
Whoever wins this fight will be facing off against the Valkyrie in round 2.
I will be fighting Valkyrie. I think she has good reason to be worried. She has fantastic legs. I draw attention to that, and I lure her in under false pretenses, at which point I would kill her.
She'd better watch out for his giant charisma.
Yeah, well then when you get in there for a punch, she's gonna be like clock in the face, and your face is just gonna be like a little handprint, and that's about it.
I think I'm quicker than her. I think Zelda might be delusional at this point. But
Really?
Zelda,
I mean, the hero legend has a sword, and a shield, and fairies. You don't get rid of fairies that easy.
If I win this round and I go on to fight the Valkyrie, that'd be a completely different fight because she's got her godlike powers and I've got mystical powers. So I think that'd be a really interesting fight. Who would win? I don't know because I don't know how much effect I'm gonna have on her.
For the sheer purpose of the fact that he just looks so darn cute, that Valkyrie, her maternal instincts will kick in and she'll be like, boy, the deep, oh, he's just so cute, he's so gorgeous, He'd walk up right to her, he'd send her little fairies after her, and then he'd just stab her right in the guts!
I love Secret Agent more than any of the other characters in the tournament because I myself like to feel light and agile and fluid, and he likes to have an unpredictability to him, which I enjoy. I think I'm a good dresser too.
Now, Secret Agent Man is dressed in some sort of coattails and tuxedo nonsense, but he certainly doesn't look good in the middle of a desert battlefield. A hero of legend, though, also doesn't look good in the desert.
Of course, I want to go to the next round. Ultimately, I would really like to fight the Persian Prince in the final because he's not as quick as I am. He's very close to being as quick as I am. However, if I was too quick for him, he might have the ability to turn back time, which I can't do anything about.
It's the most impressive thing I've ever seen since I looked at myself naked in the mirror this morning.
Actually, I would like to fight the knight and just have a moment where I open up his shield, punch him in the face, and fall back down and shove him away.
You know, the journey we made through Warrior Showdown 1.
First he took out the ridiculously handsome actor that they got to play the boxer.
I beat TJ, then I went on to fight Wendy, and then I went on to fight Natalie, and then finally I fought Alex. So it was a big journey, and then, you know, it was really cool, and I really, really want to fight Alex because I really want to show him who's boss. Working with TJ was awesome because TJ's like my dad. I love TJ.
TJ was extremely forgiving whenever we had questions about something, or there was a few transitions I think initially that we tried that something just wouldn't work. I mean, even that little chop to the back of the head I had the roughest time with, but he was phenomenal in taking us step by step and
he's very
explaining to us.
patient.
He's got a great vision.
The post-production effects differed from what we shot almost completely.
More than any of the other fights, Lou and Eric invested a lot of trust in me to make this work.
Because I know TJ, and TJ likes to make the choreography as cool and as outstandingly crazy, awesome as possible. So I knew it was going to be, I knew there was going to be a lot of gadgets involved. I knew it was going to be something totally like, what the heck?
Yeah, I thought it was going
was
to be the worlds of mystical realm.
I know,
and
versus gadgets in real life.
I had no idea what was going on in that respect, but I loved it.
I think my favorite part is when you sped up that one sequence where you hit me like a whole bunch of times. Just like, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
I think that was awesome.
God, that felt so good to do that to you on the day. Seriously.
30% of this fight is dramatically different than what we actually shot.
There's so many things that TJ added that I had no idea were even going to be in there, like the bomb.
We never intended to do that sequence with the bomb, so we didn't shoot any of that. But as my co-producer and beautiful wife Natalie observed while she's watching it, there was not enough motivation in that moment to move these warriors through the space, and the bomb became the right solution, and it would not have been possible without videocopilot.net. I've long since relied on Action Essentials 2 for my pre-keyed blood effects, and I use Pro Scores and Sound Designer for audio. But this time around, I expanded my arsenal considerably with the optical flares plugin that I used for the exploding cufflink and other various points throughout the fight. I used the Twitch plugin to achieve a really quick and highly adjustable effect on the light beam projectile that comes out of the sword at the end. I sampled in several textures from Evolution. Riot Gear provided the finishing touch for the holographic bow tie projector. The instructional course entitled The Bullet provided the step-by-step training I needed for the bullet and arrow collision. The real hero of this fight was Video Copilot's newest plugin, Element, which allows you to interface 3D models and textures inside of After Effects and composite them directly into your video. I've never worked with 3D models before, so with absolutely no mesh background, I was able to generate the bullets for the golden gun, as well as create a reproduction of the gun itself for other shots. I was also able to create most of the Hero of Legends arsenal. The boomerang was a practical boomerang that I was able to remap and recreate, and the arrows were a combination of practical arrows in some shots and three-dimensional ones in other shots. Video Copilot is an amazing and comprehensive post-production resource that anyone interested in video effects simply must check out. Their tutorials, products, and plugins provided solutions that I could not have otherwise accomplished.
It was kind of a shock and a surprise to me to see everything kind of post-produced and put together. The way it came out is so cool. Oh my gosh.
Conflict activated.
I'm Lou Wegner.
And I'm Eric Norris.
And this is your behind-the-scenes look at Warrior Showdown 2.
Bringing history to life. Draining your blood, throwing in a martini glass, and sipping on it.
And then on top of that, taking a firecracker card and blowing it up in the face.
This is Warrior Showdown 2, bringing history to life and reminding you that while your vote does not count in the American election, it sure as hell does in this one. Ah!